Hey everybody, happy Monday. My name is Brittany Budd. Devin is going to be here soon for our weekly show. Bam! Badass moms, kicking ass, killing it, doing all that good stuff. Tonight, there she is. Well, now let me add her in here. Tonight, we are talking about self-sabotage limit problem. Have you ever heard of this before? This is a new concept for me. I never heard of the upper limit problem before. Hey, Devin.
Hello. How are
How
you?
are you, babe?
I'm good, thanks.
Good. So the upper limit problem and self-sabotage.
Yes.
Let's get into this. Have you ever experienced this?
Yeah, all the time. All the time.
Yeah.
And then I just saw this quote by Rachel Hollis talking about if you really want something, you'll find a way. If you don't want something, you'll find an excuse, right?
Yep.
And I stopped and thought about that. What is happening behind me? It's like anyway, I will fix this in a moment. We'll just leave that. I'll sit like
That's
this.
fine.
I don't know how that happened. Anywho, I just started thinking, like there are a lot of things that I want. I definitely want. It's almost like sometimes it's the things I'm afraid of most that I sabotage too. It's not that I don't want it. It's just that it seems very daunting.
Yeah. No, I totally get that. I think, well, you probably remember a couple of weeks ago, like suddenly I just felt totally unmotivated. I was depressed. I was anxious. I could barely get myself out of bed. And now looking back, nothing was going on to make me be this way. It was my upper limit problem. And I didn't even know about an upper limit problem. I didn't really even know what it was until very recently.
I don't know what that is. What is it?
The upper limit problem?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm so excited that you don't know so I can share it with you. So imagine our lives like this comes from Gay Hendricks' book, The Big Leap. So if you haven't read it, I have not read it. I thought I ordered it, but it's not up there, so I need to order it. Apparently it's very good. But he talks about our life as being like a thermostat. And when things start getting too hot, we panic and we will self-sabotage to keep ourselves from getting too hot, we'll say. So this can be in business, this can be in love, in intimacy, in any kind of relationships, finances. If things start going too well for us, if we get outside this norm of what we think is a good amount, we will sabotage ourselves to keep it under that threshold.
That makes sense. I definitely heard of like keeping yourself in this like comfortable zone. Like what
Yep.
people say, I'm not comfortable. No, I'm not comfortable with my bank account being this. I'm not comfortable
Yep.
with that. It sucks, but you are. You are to an extent
Yeah.
because that is what you are used to subconsciously.
Right.
So it's like the people who win the lottery and then subconsciously take themselves back into debt.
Yes. Yes, exactly. And like in dating, maybe you meet this really great guy and you're like, man, that guy would be really great for somebody else, but maybe I'm gonna go date that guy. He's not quite as good, but I'm gonna date him because that other guy's too good to be true. Even though maybe he is just that good, we'll already sabotage that. We won't even give the great guy a chance because it's outside of our comfort zone. He might make me happier or love me more than I think I am worth or deserve to be.
Well, right, you feel like a better person when you're with someone who maybe is a little bit crappier. Like
Right,
at least
exactly.
in your younger years.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like you're like, but if he's too good, then I have to up my game. If I'm not ready to up my game, then I can't be with this person.
Exactly.
Makes me feel
And
like
like we do this in business too. Like if our business starts going really well, like we're getting a lot of clients or customers or sales and our pays are getting bigger, we'll start to be like, "Oh no, like I'm not good enough. I'm not worth this much success, so I'm gonna not message people anymore. I'm not gonna check in with my customers. Like I'm gonna dial it down a little bit so that I'm in my comfort zone.
Yes.
So I've got some tips. If you are suffering from the upper limit problem, which you probably are, like a lot of us don't even know that we're doing it to ourselves. This can show up in so many different ways, you guys. Like for me, a couple of weeks ago, it was depression. You might find yourself suddenly super sick. You're sick to your stomach, you're throwing up, you've got a pounding headache, you got flu-like symptoms. Your body is in dis-ease because you are hitting your upper limit. What kind of ways do you feel like yours manifest, Devin, when you run into it?
I think a lot like what you said. More like fatigue, like more like I feel lazy. Like I just don't want to do. I feel uninspired is a good way to describe it. It's like
Yep.
suddenly I'm on this jolt of inspiration, and then all of a sudden it just like cracks, and I'm like, and
Yeah.
then because I'm used to this like this way of living where I have inspired living is kind of what I call it. It's like I feel inspired, I move. I feel inspired, I move. I feel inspired, I move. However, I have learned, and I do feel better about this, that actually feeling inspired to do nothing is part of the process, part of the plan, part of the
Yeah.
inspiration to just take a break so you can have more pockets of inspiration. So that's good news because I did not know that. I was like, why is it that I feel like it's self-sabotage? Then I start focusing on that. So then it's like, then I get in that rut is what I'll call it. It's like I dig a trench and then
Yep.
I live in that for a hot minute and then I have to climb myself out of it.
Yes. So one of the things that you need to realize when you catch yourself, because now that I've flagged this for you, you will hopefully catch it. Okay, things are going really well in my marriage, and you maybe feel yourself starting to want to pick a fight with your husband,
Yes.
or your kids are acting really, really good, and like you want to maybe push it because you're like, why are they acting so good? This is all part of the journey. So now that I've flagged it for you guys, this whole like funk, this upper limit problem, the self-sabotaging, it is part of the process. And there are ways to get around it and just work through it. Because a lot of us will tone down, but we won't come back up to meet or match where we were and then continue. We'll dial back out of fear because whatever, we're self-sabotaging, that's just what we're doing. This is all part of the journey. And if you can accept and embrace that this is happening, hey, I'm hitting an upper limit, you will be able to increase your capacity for self-worth, for success, for love, for intimacy, whatever it is.
Which is
So
our,
acknowledging,
if anyone's like, what's our purpose? That's the purpose. The purpose is to expand. The purpose is to come and figure out that way to grow past that and to grow further than you thought you could, because then you were helping more people, and regardless of what it is you're doing, even if you just stay at home and you feel like you do nothing but be a mom, like that is your purpose, is to expand so that your expansion influences the expansion of others. So sure.
right. And it's important to note too that this is not like a one-time thing that just happens to you. It's not
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, well, I hit my upper limit and like, ta-da, I overcame it. Like, no, you've just gone from here to here. Well, you can keep going. It can keep happening. So be prepared.
Yes.
Step two is to increase your tolerance for how good you're willing to have in your life starting right now. So if you are whatever the situation is, you need to like be able to think on a broader scale of what you're willing to have. So, like your bank account, if you have, X amount of dollars, is that all that you're willing to have? Or would you like to have more? Would you be willing to allow yourself to have more? So these are the things, this is all in our heads, you guys. This is not, none of this is real. This is all made up. It's falsehoods in our brain that we need to overcome. Another thing is to like be super grateful for where you are. We talk about gratitude a lot, but if you can be grateful for the house that you live in, even though maybe it's not your dream house, you can be grateful for your spouse, your family, the people that you're surrounded with, your health, food in your fridge, things like that. That certainly helps like overcoming things, right?
And bringing you more of those things instead of like when you act out of fear, you act out of like lack, you think about what you want out of lack as opposed to what you have now and
Yeah.
wanting it it paves the path of finding more as opposed to aha, you want more of this lack, okay, so let's how do we get there, because you'll find it.
Exactly. And it's also really important when you notice this, like for me, like someone who it manifests as depression, or if you're someone who suddenly have a cold, like my brother-in-law is out west in the RCMP program and he's almost done, and all of a sudden he has a cold. And they just found out where they're being stationed and they're trying to get that organized. I'm like, he's hitting an upper limit problem. He's suddenly sick out of nowhere with a terrible cold. He's out of alignment with what he thinks he's capable of doing.
Yes.
So it's so crazy. It's so crazy. But it's important to notice that this is happening, acknowledge it, embrace it, but also care for yourself. Because when you get into these situations and you're aware of it, like now that I've made this knowledge for you, you notice things are going well, and then you notice that suddenly you're sick or you're self-sabotaging or whatever, it's okay to take a break and revel in hitting that ceiling for yourself. Give yourself some self-care. Take a couple of days to like watch a couple shows, like eat whatever you want, like give yourself some love and why can't I think of words? Celebrate celebrate your success because you've hit that ceiling. Even though you may feel sick, if you're someone that feels sick, like maybe you've got the flu or whatever, try to celebrate because you've hit a ceiling that and you're breaking through it.
Yeah, and Karen's making
It's
a
all
good
part of the journey.
point to like think about something, like think about the things you can do, the things you have done, but like especially
Right.
what you can do, because when you start taking like note of things you can do, you'll realize that you can do so much more than you are focusing on at the time, because
Exactly.
it'll feel like I can't do anything, I don't want to do anything. Where am I even going? What is even happening? What is this even for? Like you just to lay down in the trench.
Yeah. Yeah. So self-care, yes, Sarah, self-care is so, so important. And celebrating, like looking after yourself, giving yourself that break. Don't let these breaks last forever. Like, don't get comfortable in the break, but give yourself a couple of days to revel in this and allow that expansion for growth and success and love and intimacy and whatever it is for you. Give yourself a chance to expand into that and then to start going again until you hit that next one and then do it again. It's a cycle, like, waves and troughs and it's a flow.
A season, as Heather would say. A season.
Season. It's a season. It's a winter.
Winter's coming, friends.
So that's what I got for us today. Upper limit problem and self-sabotage.
Yes, it's natural, it's normal, it's happening, it's coming. So just keep working,
Hmm.
push through, and that's really great advice.
Yeah.
Thanks, girl.
No problem. Do you have anything you want to share or comment on?
I'm trying to think. I mean, no, I think you nailed it, and I mean I agree, and that I experience it all the time. And like I said, I'm glad to know that like knowing it's normal, knowing that even sometimes it's inspired breaks, and that you should just keep going. You just keep
Yeah.
going, you keep focused, and really like try to navigate and not get confused that it is a sign that you are going in the wrong direction, which is what
Right.
so many people do. It's like, oh,
Yes.
this doesn't feel good. I'm going in the wrong direction. You may
Yeah.
be going at the wrong pace. You may be going at it the wrong way mentally, but you're not going in the wrong direction. So that's what I got.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's a really great point. It's very important to not backpedal and settle back in your comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
push your comfort zone up. Keep
Because
pushing it up.
something's going to come back and you're going to find it happening again. Then you're going to get that inspired
Yep.
thing, you're going to hit that wall. And instead of going back, like you're saying, and going forward, you go back and you start over and you land
Yeah.
in the same place. So I thought that was great advice. So thanks.
No
Thanks.
problem. So if you guys want to check out The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks, apparently it's very good. I'll be ordering it. I've heard a lot of like big speakers talk about it, so now I got to check it out.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. I hope you guys are having a great long weekend. And
Mm-hmm.
Devin, as always, it's so wonderful to see you.
So good to see you. Can't
I'll
wait to
see
see you.
you. Well, yeah. I'll see you on Monday, but I'll see you in real life on Wednesday.
Yes. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.